Hello everybody, my name is Mark Mello and I'm a park ranger with Blackstone River Valley National Historical Park, and I'm excited to welcome you to this week's Ranger Chat. Slogans can often carry some powerful meanings, can't they? And this week we're going to talk about one specific slogan that I'm sure you've heard of, but we're going to talk about it within a very different context than how you probably learned about it in history class.
No taxation without representation. Most Americans would associate this phrase with the cry against unjust taxation imposed by the British government on American colonists. But would you associate it with women fighting for their own rights nearly 100 years after that crucial event in the land of the free? Well-noted abolitionists and women's rights activists Abby Kelly Foster and her husband, Stephen Foster, utilized this famous plea from the American War for Independence to fight for the rights of women in the United States. Abby and Stephen had been among the most vocal advocates of abolitionism in the years preceding the American Civil War. But by the 1870s, the Fosters were ready to make another stand against what they considered tyranny. At the annual meeting of the Massachusetts Women's Suffrage Association in 1872, Foster encouraged her fellow suffragists to withhold their taxes. Why should women have to pay taxes when they were not allowed the right to vote? Only 2 fellow members agreed to join her. Unfazed by the lack of support, the Fosters refused to pay taxes on their home in Worcester, appropriately named Liberty Farm. The punishment for not paying taxes on one's home at the time was eviction and confiscation of the property. However, Worcester officials were not eager to prosecute such a course of action against the, at that time, famous couple. The Fosters further provoked the officials by claiming they should either forgive them of their taxes or take their home. Finally, the tax collector posted a notice that the home would be auctioned on February 20th, 1874, unless the couple paid their $69.60 in taxes. There was only one bidder at the auction, who removed his offer after Stephen called him a robber. The city took legal ownership of the property, but Stephen refused to vacate. This form of civil disobedience led to the house being auctioned every succeeding year. Stephen was the only bidder every year. The back taxes were taken out of the money he paid to repurchase his home. After the death of Stephen in 1880, with her own health failing, Abby sold the property 2 years later. Although their protests did not achieve the widespread following that they had hoped, the Fosters remained steadfast in their convictions. Abby would not live to see the day that women earned the right to vote, but she was just one of the numerous women whose actions brought about change. In 1973, a little over 100 years after their show of civil disobedience, the Fosters' home was named the National Historic Landmark by the National Park Service.
I'd like to thank you for joining us for this week's Ranger Chat. As always, if you have any comments or questions, please leave those down below. We would love to hear from you. Stay safe, stay healthy, and we'll see you out there along the Blackstone really soon.